Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, Mr. Ifat. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Mahesa Putra di Pamungkas with NIM 24020101013. Okay, I'm here to discuss about the topic is English language learning. Okay, this is the importance of learning English. The first one is global communication. English is a key language for international interaction, and then career opportunities, proficiency, exchange job prospect in various fields, access to information, a vast amount of knowledge is available in English. Higher education, essential for studying at prestigious universities, and cross-cultural communication enables interaction with diverse cultures. The key strategies for learning English, the first one is speaking practice. Engage in conversation with native speaker. Then multimedia resources. Use movies, music, or podcasts to improve listening skill. And then interactive learning. You can participate in games and real-life simulation. Then technology use. You can leverage language learning apps and online resources and feedback acceptance. Seek input from teacher and peers to improve. Okay, now we can watch the interview video me with Miss Sarah. Good morning everyone. Today we have the pleasure of speaking English with Miss Sarah, a young and passionate English teacher at BBC Cilegon. Having been actively speaking English for almost 20 years, Miss Sarah is currently teaching English mainly for adult conversation programs and has been teaching English for the past 7 months. Her dedication and enthusiasm have made her a valued member of the team. Welcome, Miss Sarah.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
So, Miss Sarah, let's start by understanding what sparked your interest in teaching English.
What sparked my interest in teaching? That's actually kind of a funny story because I didn't have any teaching educational background. So when I first got my job as a teacher, it was luckily it kind of went out really natural for me. So I'm not sure whether that is something inspiring or not, but um, over time I realized that after I had my classes with my students, and interact with them and creating this relationship between student and teacher, I realized that it's something rewarding to be a teacher and to teach all these different kind of people that come to us, and to meet me as my student. So yeah, I guess that's the gist of it.
That's wonderful. In your opinion, what are some of the biggest challenges students face when learning English in Indonesia?
So far from what I have gathered, I think most people, especially Indonesian people, they tend to start with trying to translate sentences word per word, which makes it challenging to learn a new language, especially English, because there are so many nuanced expressions, idioms and vocabularies that are not, uh, they don't mean the way they mean to say. So it kind of like has either double meaning or just figurative meaning. So the first thing that I would recommend um, students to do is not to translate word per word, but try to find a pairing of expression of what you want to say, but find it in English. Yeah. So that's that.
How do you address these challenges in your classes at BBC?
The main thing that I do is trying to get them to speak and to express whatever it is they want to say by asking them just the simplest questions in a, like things that that we do or things that happen in our daily life, such as you know even the topic of food, favorite food or movies and stuff like that, and to engage this uh, the, not just expression, but also to force them to find an expression and to find the vocabularies that they need. However, um, most of the students have difficulty in even trying to speak because they are afraid. They are afraid of making mistakes, which is another thing that hinders their progress, because then when they don't speak, I don't know how to add into that, or to give them or to add vocabularies into their collection of vocabulary data, which is what is important in being able to speak or learn a language, is that we are learning other people's language, and the way that they express that language is more or less different with the way that we express a language. So the main thing that I do is I always encourage my students to just speak, even though they mix the Indonesian language and English language, no matter, so long that they are used to using the expressions or the vocabularies. The more they use it, the more they get used to it. And the more they get used to it, the more confident they are, even though the grammar is all over the place, but it doesn't matter, so long that the language itself is is something that is practical, that they use in their daily life.
That's a great approach. What about the role of technology? How do you incorporate technology into your teaching method?
Role of technology in learning a language, I think. Well, I mean, in comparison with my own experience, as I was, when I was a kid, the only thing that I had at that time and access to was a dictionary. Either that or movies from the TV, or songs. Um, but nowadays we already have all these advanced technology where you can simply just download an app, and I don't know, find some app that you can use to learn to speak or learn to listen, or even grammar and tenses. Um, but the thing is, when the language is not used in our daily life, it becomes something that is I wouldn't say stagnant, but it's more rigid, and it doesn't flow as smooth as normal conversation would look like. So yeah, I think the advancement of technology does have a role in terms of helping the students have more access to learning all the basics and foundational um, necessity in learning a language. However, the need to be able to use that language in a practical way and in a daily life still requires other people to talk to, or to have conversation with. So yeah, I think we can have a balanced life between having all this advancement of technology, as well as the practical life, or practical side of having constant exposure to the language usage itself.
Interesting. In your experience, how has the approach to teaching and learning foreign language in Indonesia evolved over the past few years?
um oof, this is such a difficult question to answer because I've only been teaching for a short while. However, The one thing that I noticed is that with elementary and primary classes, you do need some sort of play integrated into their learning process, just to keep them from feeling fatigued and burned out and even bored, you know. However, for the adults, what I noticed is that even though they most of them lack of the basics or foundational knowledge of the English language. What they actually need is stimulating, um, or you know, an environment, a learning environment where they can immerse themselves into the language itself, where the language becomes something that is practical, something that is applicable in their daily life, which means they need more conversation practice. So I don't know about the difference between, you know, how the teaching method evolved over the past years whatsoever. I'm not sure I'm the correct person to ask that question to, but this is just my opinion.
What do you think are some emerging trends in foreign language education that educators should be aware of?
Oh, I don't think I have strong opinion regarding this. I think everyone can offer different things. What matters is whether you are comfortable and whether that person really can engage your learning interest, you know, and to crank that up a little bit more and to inspire you and to also sort of like push you into learning more diligently and confidently is what is most important.
That's insightful. Finally, Miss Sarah, what advice would you give to young people in Indonesia who are inspiring to learn English or any other foreign language?
Advice to young people to learn English. Honestly, I think a lot of people have already get the gist of it in terms of, you know, they already know what to do. It's just the confusion comes from how to do it and whether they have supporting peer or, you know, friends or people around them that also entice this learning process and to help them improve day by day. I think that is what is lacking in our learning process. So I would simply recommend them to make new friends. Absolutely. Make new friends, international friends from whichever country, so long that they can speak English, even though, you know, in the beginning you will find all different types of people and not all of them have perfect English, which is fine. But the most important is that you are also being supported by all this immersing um, community where you can practically um, use the knowledge that you've been gathering so far. And so yeah, that's that.
Thank you so much, Miss Sarah, for sharing your insight and experiences with us. It's been a pleasure to speaking with you.
Oh yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate and I really admire all these young people who love learning English because, you know, I think there is no limitation to what we can learn, and what we can improve and how. But I think some people can get limited in the way that um, they have this confidence where they can be applied or not. But yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, this is the key insight from the interview. The first one is motivation for teaching. Miss Sarah's journey into teaching was unplanned, but became rewarding as she built relationship with her students. She emphasizes the joy of connecting with diverse learners. The second one is challenges in learning English. A significant challenge for Indonesian students is the tendency to translate word for word, which complicates understanding idiomatic expression and nuance in English. Miss Sarah advises the student to think in English rather than relying on direct translation. The next one is teaching methodology. To combat students' fear of making mistakes, Miss Sarah encourages them to speak freely, even if it means mixing language. This approach fosters confidence and practical use of vocabulary. The next one is role of technology. Mishra acknowledges the importance of technology in language learning, but stresses that practical conversation with others is essential for fluency. She advocates for a balance between using apps and engaging in real-life conversation. The next one is evolution of language teaching. Although she has taught for a short time, Miss Sarah notes a shift towards more immersive and practical language learning environment for adults, contrasted with the playful methods needed for the younger learners. And the last one is advice for aspiring learners. Miss Sarah encourages young people to make international friends to practice their English skill in a supportive environment, highlighting the importance of community in language acquisition. Okay, this is my personal reflection from Miss Sarah's insight. It is clear that teaching is not just about imparting knowledge, but also about building connection and fostering a supportive learning environment. Her emphasis on practical usage and community engagement resonates strongly in today's globalized world. The conclusion is, in summary, Ms. Sarah's experiences illustrate the challenge and reward of teaching English in Indonesia. Her strategies highlight the importance of confidence, practical application, and community support in language learners. As we move forward, embracing this principle can enhance our approach to education and empower learners to achieve their language goals effectively. Okay, that's it from me. I'm sorry if I make a lot of mistakes. That's it. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.